Hey everyone, welcome back to the Fin Factor. I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
This is episode number 186. Before we get started, first thing I want to ask you guys, please, if you can, hit that share button, hit that repost, retweet, whatever it's called button now. Get some more people in here. We'd love to have some more people talking in the chat. We've got some topics that we'd like to hear from you guys about specifically today, and it's actually the very first thing we're going to jump into here. Aaron, I'm sure you heard about the incident that was overseas in the EIHL, the English Ice Hockey League. One of the players, his name is Adam Johnson, or was Adam Johnson, played for the Nottingham Panthers. He's actually a former Pittsburgh Penguin. He passed away due to a skate lacerating his neck. Now I'm not sure if anyone happened to see the clip. It's a little they cut some of it off. It's a little bit gruesome, but the player kind of got his body a little bit out of whack and threw his leg up in the air, and then it came crashing into this Adam Johnson's his neck, and unfortunately, that ended up causing him to pass away. And it's one of those things that we've talked on the show several times about things that are going on in the hockey world that aren't necessarily just about the San Jose Sharks when it's kind of a bigger deal. And this is one of those things. And I kind of want to hear a little bit of what you thought of this incident, and we'll kind of get into the things that are going to be happening to help prevent this stuff later on. And I'm certainly going to talk a little bit about my view as a parent of two children who play ice hockey. So I just kind of want to get your take on some of this, and
Sure.
it's just a terrible thing that's happened.
Oh, it's tragic. It's absolutely awful that this happened. Now, just to clarify, he didn't pass away on the ice. He was taken to the hospital, and they were unable to save him. But again, I was reading about it. There were 8,000 fans in attendance, and for everybody involved, I'm talking the fans, 8,000 people seeing somebody get for better or worse, their throat cut open, not knowing if he's going to live or not, getting rushed to the hospital. When you have your teammates, you have the guy whose skate did it inadvertently, but they're going to feel absolutely guilty and awful. It's something that's so tragic, and yes, there's so many different ways that you can get hurt when you're playing hockey. The game is so fast. You're wearing razor blades on your feet. It's very dangerous. Um, to me, I think it is avoidable. It is something that they can do, and we'll get into this in a little bit about neck guards and different protections that you could wear around your neck, because this has happened in the NHL before. Nobody died, but it is brutal. If you are weak at seeing blood or anything remotely just terrifying, do not Google this and look for these videos. It is really bad. I didn't see this one. I refuse to look for it. I do not want to see it, because I've seen the one that happened in the NHL where he thankfully lived, but it is so horrific. It is so bad. It is so traumatizing. The one that happened in the NHL that I'm thinking of, I can't remember. I should have looked this up, but
Buffalo Sabres, Clint Malarchuk, the goaltender, is who you're thinking of.
yeah, and right away skated. The trainer came out, put pressure on, skated him off, got them away right away. Now, I was reading an article that was in The Athletic. I think it came out yesterday or maybe today, this morning. It was a trainer, and she was saying basically her biggest fear is that happening during practice, because during a game, at least in the NHL level, you have doctors, you have people in-house, you have an ambulance ready to go, you have all these people on staff ready to go. But in practice, she is it. That's it. If that happens in practice, she is the only one that's going to be there and be able to save them and get them to the hospital, because there's no ambulance sitting on standby for practices and whatnot. So it is a very real thing that I think the NHL and the NHLPA should look at. I'm sure this will be talked about in the offseason. It's not going to happen now. They're not going to knee-jerk reaction and mandatory make these, going to happen because players aren't going to want it. But let's go back in history. They used to not play with helmets, and the players refused to play with helmets. Eventually, they got mandatory, and it got grandfathered in. And there's the last people, Doug Wilson was one of the last ones to not wear a helmet. Then visors was next, and people said they couldn't see. It gets fogged up. It's terrible. It's not comfortable. Sure, okay, but everyone's going to be wearing one, and it protects your eye. In fact, I think last week there was a Sharks game, where maybe it was 2 weeks ago, a puck from the point got tipped off of a stick, went directly into a player's face. I think it actually hit him in the side because he turned a little bit. If he didn't have that visor, that eye could have been gone, and that would have been, if you lose vision in one eye, you cannot play in the NHL. That is actually the legal thing, I guess. It's in the rule book that you have to have vision in both eyes, because you can't blindly, you're going to get a blindsided hit, basically. So it's a safety issue. So if you lose vision in your eye, if you take a stick or you take a puck and you lose vision in your eye, your career is done. So there are a lot of injuries. I mean, not similar to this, but we've seen it where Erik Karlsson's Achilles got sliced by a skate. We saw last year Evander Kane getting his wrist slashed by a skate. So it's dangerous. It's an extremely dangerous game. It happens very fast. I would like to see, and I know you as a parent, you're going to get into this, but what I would like to see and what I would expect to happen is it's going to start at the lower levels and slowly graduate its way up into the upper levels. And currently, the OHL, I think everyone except the WHL, requires everyone to wear neck guards already. So it's already kind of in place at the lower levels. Players are already getting used to it. If you're playing at a high level, you're going to get used to it. And in the article, the trainer is like, players just don't want to change anything. They're never going to want to change anything, especially when it comes to equipment. It'll take them 3 days and they'll get used to it. They could mandate it, but they won't. They'll fight it. But it could happen.
Yeah. I moved some things around there, Super Producer Jason. Sorry. So you had said that, some of the OHL or the CHL teams or leagues, I guess, have mandated that already. It looks like some of the folks from the Providence Bruins, which is an AHL team, their players on just a Sunday actually threw on some neck protection, kind of like in response to all of this. Maybe kind of their way of saying, "Hey, we see you. We want this to be something that kind of is what we're doing moving forward." I mean, hockey players are tough, but a skate to the throat, there's no toughness for that, right? It's not something you just play through and you're hurt. That's a very serious injury. So I think this is kind of their way of saying, this is something that we can very easily do, and kind of promote it to more than just their own little group of fans. So Providence Bruins, my hat's off to you guys for kind of stepping out of your comfort zone. Even normally you wouldn't have worn a neck guard, or maybe they came from those leagues where they did have them mandated and it was okay and easy for them to put it on, and it didn't change the way they played. Blah blah blah. Either way, they don't have to, and they decided to. So again, my hat's off for kind of bringing some awareness to that. Now the IEHL, which is the English Ice Hockey League, this is the league that the Nottingham Panthers, who Adam Johnson played for, this is the league that they're in. Thank you, Super Jason. Yeah, so they're actually going to, it looks like, make it mandatory to wear a neck guard beginning in 2024. Now, I don't know if that's the 2024 season or if that's turn of the year, 2024, the calendar year. But either way, looks like they are at least taking a step in that direction to have players' necks protected by these neck guards. And I think for me, you had mentioned, I want to say a little bit about being a parent of two young hockey players. And, for sure, this is kind of one of those things that's a little bit eye-opening. My kids, when they started playing hockey, it wasn't ice. It was inline hockey. There's no, you can roll over somebody's neck, but you're not going to cut it, right? So they never wore the neck guards. Going into ice, it was not something that we thought of as equipment because it was just not one of the things that was listed. It was always, a helmet, shoulder pads, everything else. So you know, a little bit later on, we saw, oh, these are available, but we never really bothered. And, you know, we tried putting it on, you know, one of them, and it was, you know, kind of like a turtleneck. It was just kind of uncomfortable. So we hadn't done it. I can tell you right now, and Super Producer Jason's got some images of some of these things. The neck guards are available all over the place. Actually, not right now because they're pretty much sold out in response to this.
Yeah.
But you can see that it's not just a neck guard. They've got, you know, full blown shirts that are, I mean, made with Kevlar that have, you know, the neck guard built into it. Also have shirts that have those long sleeves that have on the wrists wrist guards. So they are cut resistant in both of those areas, which are both fairly exposed when you compare to the rest of all of the hockey gear. No, Peter St. John, not chainmail, but next best thing, a Kevlar, I think, right? So, yeah, I you know, and if you have young players or if you play yourself, this is one of those things that, you know, it might be a little costly, but you can imagine how much more costly it would be, you know, in trying to weigh that against the safety of yourself or your young players. So certainly we've purchased some protective gear for our kids. They're just going to have to get used to it. I know turtlenecks kind of suck. I don't like wearing them either, but you know, in
that's
in
one of
response
the
to this, I think, you know, again, the safety is paramount, of course. And that's definitely something that we're looking into. And I just saw the notification on my phone like just a minute ago that the purchase went through. So I guess we found something. As again, everywhere we look, and we went to Pure Hockey and everything else, and they're all sold out. So
TJ,
this is me just kind of urging you guys, if you have young ones that play, please let's do the best we can to keep them safe. We give them helmets and shoulder pads and shin guards and everything else. And these two areas are the most critical when it comes to skate cuts. So why not just add, you know, some neck protection and potentially some wrist protection as well. I'm sorry, Aaron, you go ahead.
That's okay. TJ Oshie was asked right before the Sharks game, actually. He plays for Washington Capitals. He's into it, and he just ordered some after this happened too. So he's ordered the turtleneck, and the turtleneck has the Kevlar in the neck part, and then I think it also has it in the wrists. So it's just a shirt you put on. It's not, you know, it won't be a big deal, but they're saying there's only two people that ever wore turtlenecks that look cool, and it was Wayne Gretzky and Thomas Volkanich. That's it. Everyone else looked awful in a turtleneck, but it'll, whatever, you get your team colors, you get whatever, it's going to look good and you'll get used to it. His gripe was that it's so hot, at least in the NHL arenas, that guys are sweating through shirts and changing them out in, you know, in between periods because they're already completely soaked through. But again, just something you just get used to. You start at the lower levels, it's going to be the norm in 5-10 years, in the next generation of players coming through. It's just going to be the norm that it's something else you wear along with your other pads. So if it can protect you, I mean, all you need is one success story, right? You pull the tank top or the turtleneck off and you see the line of where it would have been on your neck.
Yeah.
Done. Sold right there. I would buy 10 more if that happened to me.
Also, and I cannot for the life of me remember where I saw this. I want to give the hat tip to the right folks, but apparently the NHLPA is considering adding this to the next collective bargaining agreement, that the teams would be able or would provide some form of neck protection. So again, this is one of those things where it's a tragedy, but hopefully from this tragedy can spawn a lot of good change to help make everybody safe. And it's unfortunate that it takes something like this to really spark that change. But it looks like, you know, the safety of the players is, you know, maybe well on its way to kind of eliminating or at least lessening a lot of these types of injuries. So, you know, again, thoughts and prayers. We know that it can't fix anything, but that's really all we can offer right now is, you know, for the families and everybody else. And again, like you said, Aaron, the fans, and it's not just, you know, adult fans, kids and stuff that are in there as well. And they had to witness that. I know with some of the players that my son played with for inline doing the Narch finals there was a team from the UK, and there was Sheffield, I think is the name of it. And one of the kids that my son played with plays for a team in Sheffield. Now, I'm not sure exactly how close it is to Nottingham, but I remember seeing that name in one of the articles as well. So I wouldn't even be surprised if those families were at that game. So yeah, it's a big tragedy. It's just again, I'm hoping that some good can come out of this for future generations to eliminate, if not lessen, the impact of these types of injuries. So anything else you wanted to add about that?
Just condolences go out to him and his family. It's just so tragic and awful. It's he didn't go to the rink that day thinking he wasn't going to come home. So it is extremely sad, and I feel so terrible. And TJ Oshie even said in his article, he goes, it could happen to me tonight on the ice. Like my kids won't have a dad anymore. It's just awful. Terrible feeling.
Super producer Jason, thank you for the information. He says Sheffield to Nottingham is 1 hour by car. It's 45 miles away. So yeah, it was pretty close by. I can't remember what the link was in the article. It wasn't just a distance. There was something to do with that city. But regardless, going from some fairly tragic news to some not quite as tragic, but still fairly kind of sad for Sharks fans. Jumbo officially announcing his retirement. Now we all saw this coming, of course, maybe 2 years ago, but he announced his retirement, and the way that he does it on, well, I guess it's on X. It's a post. I call it a tweet, but whatever. But it was a shirtless tweet, of course, because it's Jumbo. Of course he would do this, right? That's how he communicates with people. He takes the shirt off and then he starts talking.
Get on with it.
Right on cue. Aaron, I mean, obviously we saw this coming. What'd you think about the tweet? I mean, the guy's hilarious.
For those who didn't see it, he is shirtless and he's walking somewhere, basically like having a conversation. It's like he's on a FaceTime. He's going, I didn't think I had to do this, but I guess I have to. I'm officially announcing that I'm retired. So it's kind of funny and very Jumbo-like. And then I don't know if you saw Sharky's follow-up picture. Do you remember when was it Jumbo and Burnsy walking shirtless? Is that who it was?
So Jumbo had the shirt off. He was walking with Burnsy, but Jumbo had the shirt off.
Yeah. So after that happened, Sharky has a suit, or he just takes off his jersey and he's walking around shirtless. So he posted that picture when along with Joe announcing their retirement. So kind of sad, but I think it was something that was a long time coming. Maybe he was holding out hope that he would get signed by the end of the year. Who knows? Here's the video right here.
There you go. Yeah, we don't have the video, I think, or the audio.
No audio.
Yeah, that's
so
okay.
Jumbo.
But yeah, so definitely check this one out if you haven't seen it yet. What a beauty this guy is, huh? Look at the hat. He's got the beard. He's rocking it. It's nice and cut there, huh? He's got it trimmed up.
Yeah, it looks better, but I still think it's gross. I think he needs to shave it all off. He needs to go the short route like I have.
You know what? The skunk stripe is kind of going away. It's just kind of all getting light, isn't it?
Yeah. Now it's stripes going of just darkness.
But I think Super Producer Jason's also got a good handful of images here for Jumbo. And while we're talking, maybe we'll just kind of roll through some of them. Aaron, what do you have to say about this absolute beauty, this legend? What do you got to say about this guy?
He's gonna go in the Hall of Fame, and I think this might have a little to do with the reason that he announced his retirement, because you have to be retired to start being eligible to go into the Hall of Fame. Another part of it might be they are opening a position for him in the front office. I'm completely speculating. I don't know here, so don't take my word for it. But I would think it's basically like a formality so that he can get the ball rolling into his, what do you call it, your next step in your career kind of thing. So no longer a player and turning into a front office, maybe management, maybe player development role. My guess would be player development in something that he stays around. Since the Barracuda are here, he stays around San Jose and helps those new players that are coming in. And kind of like what was it Todd Marchant was doing while in Anaheim. Now he's with the San Jose Sharks, kind of a similar role of player development, showing players how they need to train and off-season stuff and get ready and how to get better and also survive the NHL, because it is such a grind to play 82 games in a season. most of these kids have never done it before. So anyway, I think that's kind of with the direction that he's going to go. So I'm going to say Hall of Fame, and then announcing he's hired with the San Jose Sharks. So he'll be around for a long time, which would be fantastic.
We just stunk.
And I want to kick off the roll call here. Tell us what city you're watching us from and what's your favorite Jumbo moment. That's what I'd like to hear from you guys. So if you can go ahead, type that in the chat right now, let us know, and then maybe we'll just kind of say some of our favorite moments. Aaron, for me, there's a couple of them actually. One, I mean, there's a 1,000 of them realistically, but certainly ones that stand out for me. That pass to Patrick Marleau from I guess if you're looking at the goal, be the right-hand side, those boards, that blind backhanded rocket of a pass, tape to tape, goes to Marleau. He pumps it in. Just such a beautiful, amazing pass. And it's everything that Joe Thornton is. If not the best, one of the best passers of his generation. I don't think there's many people that can even now do the types of things that he did. For him to just kind of glance over his shoulder and then kind of calculate it in his head while he's looking at the glass and just rip one backhand. Are you kidding? Absolutely amazing. So that one for me is certainly a very big one. Then of course, when he got the hat trick and he was on the bench and he's just, we've seen that tweet or the meme rather, where he's got that GIF rolling of him doing that. Oh my goodness. And the eyes are lighting up and everything else. Seeing him get that and the reaction, honestly, the 3 goals was great. It was the reaction for me that did it. This guy, nearing the end of his career, and he just like he's 18 again. He's on the bench just yelling and screaming and loving it, and that's, to me, that is like all encompassing of what Joe Thornton is. Like, he's a kid at heart. He loves the game with every fiber of his being. I remember being told that he sometimes would come from home, go to the rink so he could take a shower and then leave. He just wanted to be at the rink. And of course, in the tweet that he just sent out, the retirement tweet, he says, if you're looking for me, you know where to find me. I'll be at the rink. Right. And of course, that's exactly where he'll be, even if he's retired. And when we've seen him before with Mike Greer at the press box, taking a look at some of the games and looking over some of the players, I'm fully expecting that he's going to take some sort of role that deals with either development, as you said, or front office, as you said. He's going to be involved in some way, shape, or form, and it's going to be in San Jose. His son. There you go. That's the one. There you go. Super producer Jason's on point. So his son actually plays he's a 10U player, but that team is actually playing in 12U. Not doing too hot right now, but we're watching them as well. But they're a pretty good little team there, and he's a big part of that San Jose Junior Strikes team. Jumbo's going to be here. He ain't going anywhere. So that's 2 of my favorite moments. I haven't even mentioned the Jumbo slide, but I'll let you go ahead and say yours, and then we'll take a look at the comments here and see what people say.
Sure. I got season tickets to Sharks during the lockout of 04-05, knowing that there was going to be a lockout to reserve our spot for the following season. So that following season is when they started off with that terrible losing streak and then made the trade for Jumbo. I remember being in shock, and then all of a sudden it was like, wow, the Sharks are going to win a cup this year. Funny me. And then that year with Chichu scoring, 56 goals because Thornton passed to him so many times and he would just score. Just unbelievable. And then one of my other favorite ones, I think Ryan Sontag had said the press interview after Hertl's 4-goal game, and we all know what he said. Going back to that Boston goal where he's celebrating, he almost scored a 4th goal in that game. That was an empty netter. I think he missed. I want to say he even hit the post or something. And then Boston came back and tied it with under a minute. So had he gotten his rooster trick, I'll say, they would have won that game, and they ended up losing that game. I remember that. But yeah, those are some of my favorite moments. Watching him in the playoffs become getting to the finals for the first time, and just an amazing guy, amazing player. And you said top generational passer. I think he's one of the best passers ever, maybe behind Wayne Gretzky. I think, and again, I go back. There should have been a Wayne Gretzky Award for most assists in the league, because he would have gotten it a few times, and well deserved too. One of the best passers ever. So I think it's an amazing thing. He's certainly going to be in the Hall of Fame, and I can't wait to see that, because he will most likely go in as a Shark, which would be the first Shark in the Hall of Fame. I mean, there's other players that played for the Sharks that went into the Hall of Fame, but they weren't a Shark.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Doug
Bernie
Wilson.
Nichols played for the Sharks for a hot minute. He's in the Hall of Fame, but he didn't go in as a Shark. He went in as a King, because he played most of his career there. So yeah. Anyway, even though he was drafted by Boston, played there for a couple years, he played mainly in San Jose. So he's a forever Shark to me.
100% agree. Ryan Sontag, you had mentioned that he had said the press interview after Hurdle's 4-goal game, but he also mentioned right before that, says trolling Sedin. Do you remember this one?
Yes.
When he was pointing over there, but he kept hitting Sedin in the nose.
That's also a GIF somewhere. They're talking to the ref, right? It's just the two captains talking to the ref, and he keeps punching his nose, or like pointing into his nose, and Sedin was getting pissed. It was hilarious.
Yeah,
it's great.
Certainly a lot of good moments. And actually one last one here, and I think it was actually your neighbor whose garage we used who had said this. I could be wrong, but he had asked him for a picture, and Jumbo goes, only if it's a selfie. So he's got this nice selfie with Jumbo. I guess just that's the only pictures that Jumbo ever took. He's like, I'm not just going to sit here and pose for you. You're going to get in this thing. We're doing it.
That was on our set for a while. It was in our background, like the picture of the two of them.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, there you go. All right, cool. Well, let's get on to some more sad news. The games of the week, Aaron.
Oh God,
there were 4 of them. Well, I don't even know why we want to call them games, because I don't think we were really in any of these except maybe one, unfortunately. But the Sharks do exactly what I'm hoping they do. And they take the L, right? They get closer and closer to the Celebrini/Yzerman sweepstakes.
We just stunk.
Dude, who was it said earlier that one's going to get worn out this season? It might get worn out in this show.
Peter St. John.
Game, my goodness. So Florida Panthers, the first game of the week, 3-1 loss. Now, you liked Eklund's play here to Zetterlund. Why don't you go ahead and let the folks know which one you're talking about here?
Sure. I think, in fact, he did this before earlier in the season. I said, watch, we're going to see this happen a lot more. Eklund takes the puck and he goes around the net, and it looks like he's going to try and, oh my gosh, wrap around. Thank you. Oh my God. I was just teaching Calvin what a wraparound was earlier today when we were playing hockey. So he goes like I showed him this whole play too. I had him be Zetterlund and I was Eklund. I was like, hey, watch this. This is what he did. And I go around the net. Okay. Eklund goes around the net, but right before he goes to the other side, he throws it out front. So the goalie is looking to his right, watching Eklund. As soon as the goalie moves to look this way, Eklund passes it. So the goalie jumps to the other side, expecting Eklund to wrap around. Zetterlund's wide open and just taps it on the open side of the goal. So Eklund had done this before. I think it was a preseason game that he did it. He passed it to Bordelot, I believe, if I remember correctly. But anyway, he fed Zetterlund here, and I think Zetterlund's been looking better and better in every game. He's still another young guy that he was part of the trade for Timo Meier, and I think he's been pretty good, better than some other players that are on the Sharks getting paid a lot more money. So I think he's going to start kind of kicking into gear here, and I like that these two are playing together, at least in this game. The two Swedish connections here, two young guys, Swedish connections. I want to see these kids play, put them together, and let the magic happen here. And so far, it's been looking pretty good. Eklund has not looked out of place at all. Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, and that's for me a little bit surprising because I figure he doesn't have anybody to work with, so how good can he possibly look? And this guy is absolutely 100% carrying the play when he's got the puck on his stick. You see him doing such a great job on the boards, protecting the puck, taking bumps and shoves and everything else, and just dealing with it. I don't want to say Crosby, but it's slightly Crosby-esque where he's able to use his body so well to shield the puck, and he's very shifty. And you just see him kind of controlling it the entire way through, and making these beautiful passes. Now he's hitting guys that aren't able to finish, right? So maybe he would have some more assists. But if you take away just looking at stats and you look at the way that the kid's playing the game, he's 100% doing it right. He's making these, again, beautiful plays. And once he's got somebody alongside him who can actually finish, Will Smith, Iserman, or Celebrini, if we, end up winning this draft, I think he's going to look just that much better. The confidence is going to grow that who he's hitting with a pass has a better chance of actually finishing it. I can't tell you how many times I've seen him set up Luke Cunnin, and it just didn't go. Now, we'll talk a little bit about that later on because it did happen to go. But for the most part, we haven't seen the guys that he's hitting really be able to bury it. In this case, Zetterlund does. I like that there's a Swedish connection. Frankly, I don't care what country they come from, as long as they got each other figured out and they can get some chemistry going. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously not this season, but in the seasons to come. Then we go to Tampa Bay. And if I recall, and I do, last episode I had said, this is the game. This is the game that the no shutout streak ends. Now, the last game we lost 3-1, so we did get a goal there. That continued. This game, however, emphatically 6-0 loss. The no shutout streak for the Sharks ends here, and this is about as bad as it gets.
We just stunk.
It was pretty awful. It was pretty painful. This was, I mean, every year I feel like there's one or two of these games, right? It doesn't matter how good the Sharks are or bad they are. There's going to be a game where they just get whomped, and this is the one. Now, as bad as they played, and you're probably going to laugh, I thought Blackwood played pretty well. He let in 5 of the 6, but he easily stopped another 4 or 5 should have been goals. He had some amazing saves where the announcers were like, how did he do that? And he kept them, again, as terrible as it is, he kept them in the game. Had they scored a goal or two, it was 3-1 or 3-2 going after the first period, they're still in that game. He made some incredible saves. I think he's just getting tired and he's getting hung out to dry. He is showing, at least from what I've seen, even this whole week, he's played he played 3 of the 4 games. He is looking very good. I'm trying to picture what he would be like on a team that's good, not on the Sharks, right?
Yeah.
He's a starter, man. He's a legit starter on a good team for sure. I have been impressed with what he's done.
Do you remember the length of the contract? Was it 2 years or 1?
2.
2 years. Okay. Hopefully, at the end of the midway point of the coming season here, we're looking like there's at least some promise that's coming, and Blackwood might be interested in signing just a little bit longer. Otherwise, I wouldn't mind, if he's going to be standing out and other teams want him and they're willing to give up a bit of a ransom to get him, then cool. But
he's
I would like to see somebody steady in net, Aaron.
I have a little note here for a little bit later, but
okay.
Both goalies are actually playing pretty well.
Yeah.
I think our goaltending is solidified. It's been awful for years. I think these two have it solidified in the back. I think our forwards are mediocre at best, and our defense is terrible. Just horrendous. But I think the goalies are pretty solid, both of them. Kakinen and Blackwood. Any guesses on what their save percentage is right now?
Well, looks like Nick HBK said 90.7%.
Nick, you took it. You took it away from me. Both of them. Both goalies, 907. Kakinen and Blackwood. How many goals have they let in this week? They're still at 907 save percentage. They
let in quite a few, and we'll get to that stat later on too. But there was quite a few, and of course, when you get shut out 6-0, it's a massive amount of goals. Now, I don't disagree with you though. I think Blackwood played well, and I think who is it here that just said they could have? Kellen says the game should have been 8-0 in the second period. Yeah,
yep.
He's making a lot of saves that perhaps, these pucks should be going in the net. I don't know that I would qualify that as keeping them in the game, but they were never in that game. It's okay to say that he wasn't keeping them in the game if the reason that they're not in the game is because there's no offense, right? But yeah, I don't know about keeping him in it. He was certainly making saves that he shouldn't have been making, and that's really all you can ask for from a goaltender is try to save the ones that you can. And if you can do anything beyond that, thumbs up to you, buddy. But let's move on to the Carolina game. This one, another shutout against the Sharks here. So
We just stunk.
Carolina, I told you he's going to wear it out in this segment alone. 3-0 loss. You've got a couple things to say here. I don't know if this is a positive about Hoffman or not, but I'm pretty low on Hoffman right now. So you go ahead, spin it however you want to try to spin it. Go ahead.
I'm also low on Hoffman. I don't think he's playing very well. He should be shooting like crazy. But what's funny is he had a snipe. There was a 2-on-1, and he shot it, and he completely beat Ronta, but he hit the crossbar. I mean, it was we're talking half an inch lower. That's bar down and in, and he just blew it by him. But the funny thing is, he ended up with 0 shots in that game because it's not a shot on goal.
Right.
Hitting the crossbar post is not a shot on goal.
Mm-hmm.
So his stat line for that game is a -2, 2 penalty minutes, no shots, and 15 minutes of ice time. But he could have, I think at that point, it would have been 2-1. He would have made the game 2-1.
Yeah.
And the Sharks had chances. It's not like they were just getting dominated by Carolina. This game was close, and Kakkonen played really well. Made some pretty impressive saves, as Blackwood has been doing. But he certainly gave the Sharks a chance to win. I thought Kakkonen played very well.
And really quick, I want to call out Kellen Foster here saying, I'd like to thank Ryan Miller for this goalie turnaround. Let's not forget, the Sharks did hire Ryan Miller as a goaltending coach. Now, I think Evgeny Nabokov is still like director of goaltending or development or whatever it is.
They're both. I wonder if one of them's lower level and one of them's NHL level.
I think Ryan Miller might be kind of working under Nabokov in terms of the way that they've got it set up, but I'm not entirely certain. But yes, Ryan Miller was the addition, and it does seem like, as you've said, the goaltending seems a little bit better this season. Again, by the stat lines, it doesn't necessarily look that way. But the goaltending has looked better. When you're losing every game you've played, but both your goaltenders are above 900 still, I mean, that's not bad, right?
It's not the goalies.
It's not bad.
It's not the goalies.
It's what?
It's not the goalies. I don't think that's the problem.
Okay. Yeah.
We just stunk. We stunk on the power play. We stunk on the penalty kill. We stunk 5-on-5. Our forward stunk. Our defenseman stunk. We just stunk.
The whole shebang. There you go. Let's see. So yeah, so you're thinking Kakkonen might be a trade target. Well, before we say that, Sturm, you're saying he got robbed twice. So there's a couple opportunities that we could have been in this game, if not won it, is what it sounds like.
Yes.
Sharks just unable to convert. Now, I love Nico Sturm. I love everything he brings. But maybe not the guy that's going to end up burying these shots, unfortunately, if you're looking for the Sharks to get a win, right? Unfortunately for me, I was entertained in this game, and we're still leading the draft sweepstakes. I'm happy with that. So let's move on from those guys and just go back to Kakkonen real quick. You say he's a great 1B goalie, and there's a reason you're bringing that up.
Well, if there's anyone that needs a 1B goalie on their team, I'm sure the Sharks will gladly trade Kakkonen. He has a fairly team-friendly deal for a goalie. He's at 2.75, whereas Mackenzie Blackwood, who would probably be the bigger target, is at 2.3. So he's even cheaper. But Capo is a free agent after this year. So if you're signing him as a 1B, I really wouldn't be surprised if he gets moved to the deadline because of this. He is a fantastic addition to a team that, let's say they have a veteran starter and they have a rookie backup. And by the trade deadline, you'll know if your backup is serviceable or not. Or if maybe they need more time down in the minors, or maybe they're just going to bury him, or maybe they'll trade him to the Sharks. But I think Kakinen is a fantastic 1B situation, a great backup in the NHL, definitely capable of taking over in case of an injury, or maybe you want to rest your starter going into the playoffs because you're so far ahead, which is so weird to think that people do that and not fight for a playoff spot. But it's been a while. It's been a while, folks.
Washington, we finally score a goal after going 2 games being shut out. And, I woke up and I didn't necessarily want them to win, right? Like I said, but I woke up a feeling, man, I think we're going to win this game. And they scored the first goal. So I wasn't far off, right? But then the Washington comes back. They score a late one in the third to go ahead. And then the third goal was actually an empty netter. So yeah, it was a close game, actually, Aaron, this one here. So I thought they might win. I was close. I'm glad that I was wrong, but I wasn't too far off on this one, really. But the one goal that did get scored, Aaron, why don't you go ahead? I'll let you get the glory on this one. Fire away.
We have the garbage collector getting is it the first goal of the season, I believe?
Think so.
His first goal of the season. So Luke Cunnin, the shot went over the goal, I think. It was kind of a weird shot from the point, bounced from the backboards right into the front of the net.
We get to use the slide.
Finally. He hasn't scored a goal since December of last year because he tore his ACL.
Due to injury,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. Like, sucks for us. We didn't get to use that great graphic, but sucks for him. He didn't get to play. But anyway, he scored a great goal, and it was total garbage goal. He collected it, a rebound off of the boards, and just shoved it right. Kind of, the goalie had his skate up against the post, and he kind of got it like right underneath it. So, good goal for Cunnin, and the Sharks were up 1-0 for a long time. Washington was having a really hard time solving Blackwood up until the third period, I think. So he stood on his head yet again, and then the dam broke.
That is the way Cunnin's going to get his in the NHL, we'll say. If Eklund just straight feeding him ain't going to work, crash the net and collect your garbage goals, buddy. So, yeah, speaking of Eklund again, now in this game, he continued his outstanding playmaking. The future is bright, as you say here. He's a lot like you were saying Carlson just a couple of years ago, where he was just setting up everybody, but nobody seemed to be able to finish. And that's kind of what Eklund's doing right here, right now. So again, I'm looking forward to the future of the Sharks, the young prospects coming in, getting better, the high draft picks, right, coming in and being able to work with this guy. And again, he's not looking for the glory. He's not looking for the goals. He's looking to make his team better. He's looking at the players around him, trying to find those amazing passes to make after he's done such a great job of playmaking and protecting. So again, the future's bright. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what Eklund brings once we have somebody who can actually put the puck in the net for him. So there you go. Now, in this game also, the other highlight was Granlund back in the lineup. He'd been out for quite a while there. And you've got a couple stats you wanted to go over real quick here. And go ahead, fire away.
Oh, yeah. In that game, he was the only forward that was a +1. So what do you think about that? Like, that's crazy, right? His face-off percentage was 71.4% in that game alone. He's only played 2 games. He played the season opener and then was hurt up until now. I pulled these stats up from Natural Stat Trick here. I'm trying to look at it right now real quick, but it's very slow. Anyway, I wrote it down that in the 2 games, he's gone 15-9 in the face-off circle, 62.5. I think he was only behind Hurdle. And Hurdle obviously has way more face-offs than he took, but percentage-wise, Hurdle was actually better, which is crazy. So Hurdle and Granlund are the two that I can barely see that, but there you go. There's some of the stats. Anyway, it was good to have Granlund back. I think once Couture is back and you have Couture, Granlund, Hurdle, those 3 centers, and Sturm, the centers are going to be solidified. I think the forwards are going to be playing a lot better. a lot more consistent and better defensively, because right now not having Granlund in there was hurting, and definitely not having Couture, who's probably their best two-way forward, in my opinion, on the team. It hurts a lot. So I think once Couture is finally healthy and back in the lineup, you got your captain back, you got your best defensive forward. I think we're going to start seeing some more wins, and I bet they go on maybe a couple streaks here and even out the disastrous start to the season.
You know, with Zadina, we had talked earlier about, you know, he was off to a great start, and I was saying, let's not get our hopes up right away. You know, it could just be lightning in a bottle, that kind of thing. And sure enough, haven't really heard much from Zadina. You're still high on him, so why don't you go ahead? As you say, he had a bit of a brutal trip, but there's still some hope here.
He did. He had a terrible trip. The first 3 games, he had 2 goals in that, and then since then he hasn't done anything. He is getting a lot of minutes though, and he's also, I didn't even realize this, for forwards, he's behind Sturm and Cunnin on penalty kill time. So he is like the next forward. He has more penalty kill time than Tomas Hertl. And I feel like I see Hertl out there all the time. So he is kind of a more of a well-rounded player. And there was a comment in here about, where did it go? Do you think Duclair's game will get better? That's a guy that I think needs to step up more. I think we all do. Hoffman obviously is on this list, but Duclair is a guy who I was expecting him 20-ish goals, and he isn't really. Was he gotten 1 goal, and it was kind of a fluke goal, if I remember correctly. It's kind of a weird one. We need these guys to start stepping up and scoring goals. They need to start finishing. And Duclair is the guy who, I was looking at this other stat of just pure ice time. This is the ice time. Tomas Hertl has 183 minutes. He's on the ice all the time. Has to be. He's the best player. Next up, Anthony Duclair, 150 minutes. He's the second most ice time forward, and he has a goal to show for it. A goal. Do something.
He's playing with Hertl, is he not?
Right. But you got to do something, man.
But your best player is on the ice, and you're playing with him, and you've got 1 goal.
Got to step it up.
Dude's invisible right now.
Yep. And I know he's a goal scorer. They're streaky. We'll probably see him rip off 4 goals in 5 games, and then he'll kind of go quiet again. Just the nature of being a goal scorer. But you gotta get in there, man. Start hitting people. Start doing other stuff that is not going to maybe show up on the score sheet, but everyone's going to notice you on the ice. You know what I mean? Kind of like the Jamie Baker effect. Going back to that interview with Jamie Baker. When he wasn't scoring, he was making sure he was winning every battle in the corner. He was winning every face-off. He was going to do everything he could to make himself better and get out of that slump. So that's what Duclair needs to do right now.
Well, and I think Coach seemed to like LeBank's game as well. I'm not, again, I'm seeing a lot of guys that are just out there skating around, but not really making a lot of good plays. Certainly not getting on the stat sheet. Again, for me, I see Eklund not on the stat sheet, but making good plays. I'm seeing some ugly stuff from a lot of these other guys, and some of these guys that you kind of had higher hopes for. Now, again, I'm all about taking the L, you know that, but I also want to be entertained. So I wouldn't mind seeing these guys stepping up, playing better, looking like they care a little bit more, I think. Duclair, I don't want to call him out, but man, it just looks like he's just disinterested sometimes. I see him coasting quite a bit. And it's like, man, come on, like, get the legs moving. Let's get the legs moving. But it's neither here nor there. So at the end of the day, what's happening is kind of what I want to happen. I just wish some of these guys would be a little more watchable. And right now it's kind of down to just the one guy that's fun to watch. And hopefully that changes soon. Now, Burrows, you liked his hitting. He's got 2 own goals, I think you said, going off the skate or what?
Yeah, one bounced off of it bounced off of the, I forget, it was Washington player, bounced off the player, bounced off of his chest and into the goal. While the goalie is all the way on the other side. Blackwood is over there. The other one was, I think, off of a skate or like a block shot that just tipped it, or a stick or something, it's just, he seems to be very unlucky and also inopportune times, because it was the goals that put the team down. So the other team got the go ahead goal with it. So it's just I don't know, dumb luck, terrible luck, or change your luck and stop. I don't know what else you can do. It just sucks for him. And there's no, NHL doesn't track own goals. Like in soccer, they track own goals. That's a stat, an official stat. So instead what hockey does is they give it to whoever touched the puck last.
Yeah.
So there's no way I can look this up. I just know from the sight test, seeing 2 goals that I can remember. There might even be more, but he has at least 2 off of him and into the net.
Malachi Nunez here says, do we see Pickles making an impact? We are seeing Pickles making an impact, and it's helping us get to the first overall pick. He's unfortunately in last week, we talked about this. He had one of the worst games statistically ever for him. So he's unfortunately not really getting better. His contract isn't going to go away. We got 3 more years at $7 million. So we can look forward to the rebuild looking very good over those 3 years, because we can't get rid of them. We can't move them. Not going to be able to trade them. So yeah, there's not a lot you can do with that contract. All you can hope for is what?
It's only 2 more years after this.
Oh, after this.
Right.
So this season plus 2. So three years. We're still in the beginning of this season. So
no, we're into the season. It doesn't count anymore. Plus, every day that salary gets lower and lower and lower.
Just a bit.
So he's costing less.
The last stat about this week, 2 goals for, 15 goals against for a -13. Now, again, that helps us get to where we want to be. But, man, it could be a lot more entertaining than 2 goals for and 15 goals against.
You know, it's great.
You're making a face. Go ahead. What's the face for?
Oh, you know, it's great.
What?
Looking at the standings, you know who has high hopes and they're down in the standings with the Sharks, who everyone expected to be at the bottom?
What, Edmonton?
Calgary Flames.
Okay.
Edmonton Oilers. Pittsburgh Penguins. Chicago is above them.
Yeah.
And Chicago is expected to be competing with the Sharks for being at the bottom.
I hope all of them get more than 68 points. We'll just say that. Okay.
Well, Sharks aren't even close still.
Yeah. Well, okay. So the Sharks now, up to this point in the season, no wins, 1 point through 9 games. But you know what? That's not even the record for the longest losing streak to start a season, Aaron. Get this. It's a 3-way tie. Okay. The record is 11 losses in a row to start the season. 11. Like, how bad do you have to be? So right here, we got the graphic. The 1944 New York Rangers, the 2018 Arizona Coyotes, and the 2022 Arizona Coyotes. All of them with an 11-game losing streak. I don't even feel that bad anymore, because look at Arizona 4 years apart, and that was last year was the latest one. They've been horrible.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, so bad. Can you
Look at the
imagine being a
goals.
fan? Like one of the 10 fans that's in Arizona there? I would be upset. So I like the little green thing there saying that it's the streak is active. So, Aaron, we've got 2 games coming up in this week, and we're 2 games away from tying that record. So I almost want to put out another roll call here. Maybe we don't have to type it out, but you guys in the chat, do you think the Sharks at the end of this week, because there's only 2 games, are going to be in that same conversation with the 1944 New York Rangers and the majority of the Arizona Coyote teams? Okay. So are we going to be in that conversation at the end of this week? You guys let me know in the comments. Aaron, what do you think? Do you think that we are doomed? I mean, we can talk about the 2 games we have. First of all, it's Thursday at home against Vancouver. Now, you're going to be there. Awesome. I should be there because it's November 2nd. For those of you who don't know, that's my birthday. So I should go to this game.
How come you're not going?
I don't know.
We just stunk.
Could be it right there. Maybe we got to be entertaining, Aaron, right?
Do you want to go?
Point. What's that?
Do you want or can you go?
I don't know. I have to take a look. I'm sure I can make it work.
All right.
I'm sure I can make it work.
I'll see what I can do.
Oh, look at you. Why? Because you want me to wear the jersey. You want me to wear the Gregor jersey.
I wasn't going to say it, but now that you said it, yes, absolutely.
I'd do it again. I'm only going to a handful of games anyway. I'll do it.
Excellent.
So we got Thursday is versus Vancouver. Okay.
So
and then Saturday, the 4th, against Pittsburgh, which actually is a promo night. It's the Jersey. So if I'm going to go to one of those 2 games, I should probably go to the Jersey night. But also, between Vancouver and Pittsburgh, are we looking at 2 more L's? And are we going to be in that epic 11 loss streak club?
I don't know, man, because today on Reddit, there was a Vancouver fan that joined in, or someone had posted something from Vancouver saying that they are very scared for this game because they know the Sharks are winless. They know it's a very Vancouver thing for them to do, to lose to a team that is winless. So they're fully expecting Vancouver to lose that game and the Sharks to win. So I think that's their best bet. Pittsburgh has been playing terrible. They just lost to Anaheim tonight. So it's also going to be the return of Erik Karlsson. So maybe he'll have a little extra jump in his step just to, I don't know, stick it to San Jose for some reason. So
and they helped him get out of that situation. He shouldn't want to stick it to anybody. He should be thanking us. And by thanking us, he can score a goal and put us closer.
A lot of the guys. A lot of the guys on the other team or on the other roster, on the bench, whatever. So you're going to want to play up to them. So I think that. But yeah. So for your birthday against Vancouver, I think they're going to do it. What do you think?
Okay. There you go. That's Did you just put that together, SPJ?
No.
We've had that?
Maybe.
Dude, you very nice. Very nice. I love that. Thank you for spending time putting that together. Appreciate it. If you're listening on the podcast, you need to pop over at what is it, 5735
it's okay.
or whatever.
We'll post it on our socials. We'll post it everywhere on our socials.
Do that. I love it, dude. That's awesome. Okay, so you're saying Thursday against Vancouver. We're is that Aaron's special message? Is that we have notes on the side here, folks? I don't want to pull the curtain back all the way, but it says Aaron's special image, and then it's crossed out. That's beautiful. Thanks. All right, so Vancouver, you think it happens? All right. I don't know, man. I think Pittsburgh. You see, here's the thing. We hear about these teams that you're like, oh, Washington, for instance. Washington's really bad this year. Yeah, but Washington still has some guys that are, maybe they're old, but I mean, they've got some firepower still. They've got some really good players, even if they're at the end of their careers. They at least have that. We have a glorified AHL team with a couple NHL like second line type players. That's what we have. So I don't know, dude. I don't. Maybe Vancouver, it could be. But if we're thinking Pittsburgh might be an opportunity for us to get a win, I don't think so at all. I think you wake up the beast in an older Sidney Crosby, Malkin, and EK65. And I think those guys don't allow the Sharks to get their first win if we haven't gotten it in against Vancouver.
I mean, they did win a cup on Sharks ice. I was there. Oh, brutal.
Yeah.
We also want Pittsburgh to be better because the Sharks currently hold their first round pick, but it's top 10 protected. So we don't want Pittsburgh to be in the bottom 10 teams. We want them to be 11th worst team. So we get the 11th overall pick. We're also rooting for the New Jersey Devils to get to the conference finals so that we get their first round pick. So there's potential for 3 first round picks this upcoming draft.
But help me out here. If it's the 11th pick, but they win the lottery, do we get that? Or does that now, because it's less than 10?
It's top 10 protected, and they have the option to move the pick to 2025 unprotected first round or give it to the Sharks.
So that top 10 still includes the lottery, because sometimes it's lottery protected, and that's it, right?
It says pick is top 10 protected.
So I wonder if that's.
I'm looking at cap friendly, so that's.
I'm wondering if it says top 10 protected and it's the 11th, and they're like, okay, it's not protected. Then they win the lottery, and then that becomes ours.
I think it's after the lottery. Okay. If they're 10th worst team, and a lottery team jumps ahead of them and pushes them to 11th, it goes to the Sharks.
I'm looking for the best case scenario here, Aaron. Okay,
sorry,
don't shatter my dreams. All right. Okay.
I'll still take 3 guys in the top 32 picks. That would be amazing.
Absolutely. You know what? I wouldn't even mind taking if it was a later round. Let's say they make playoffs and they go deep, whatever. I wouldn't even mind taking that, packaging it with somebody else who can be of some use, like a goaltender, for instance. We know what I mean. And then taking that and moving up a little bit. That wouldn't even be such a bad thing for me. So anyway, stuff that we can talk about near the end of the season. We're what, 10% of the way in, barely. So we got some time to talk about that. Aaron, I think that's pretty much it for Sharks stuff. Are we? Is there anything else you want to say about the Sharks specifically? Anything in the comment section that you saw that maybe you wanted to call out before we move on to the last segment here?
Nick just said top 29 Devils make it to the conference finals and then lose. That would be the best case scenario. Whatever. I'll take 3 in the top 30. That would be fantastic. And one of those being in the top 3, which would be great. 100%. I don't know. Not much else in here, I guess.
All right. Well, then I guess we are done talking about Sharks. We're going to talk about us. So there you go. Like everybody leaves, right? Mass exodus right now. No, the set update, Aaron. We have a set update.
Okay.
Take us away.
Oh, you want me to do it? Okay.
Yeah, you're the one that did that. I don't know anything about this. Go ahead.
All right,
I'm learning just like everybody in the chat.
The last set wall is done. So we have 4 of the 4 set walls. The LED tracks are being assembled, and I think we have a picture of it here. So we're gonna have some lighting in the background. It's gonna look really fancy and cool.
That's pretty.
The last thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna have a desk this time around versus just me and Paul sitting in chairs for the awkward shots. Yeah. And so that's the last thing to design and build. And then we will be filming on the set very soon. And we can't wait to show it all off to you. So what I want to hear from you guys, who should we interview on our first set show?
Who should be the first one we interview on the set? Not that the set's going to be the first time we use the set will be an interview.
No.
Oh, I can't lie. It was, a lot last, month.
Jason wants Hurdle on the show. It'll be one.
Oh, really?
One question. It'll be an hour of Hurdle just talking in one sentence.
We can't get him on the show because if he does any research on us and he sees how much we go, he's not going to come on the show.
Get on with it.
Getting Jumbo would be great. I would love to have Jumbo on there. Oh my God.
You got the inside track, man. You see him at practice. You ask him.
Yeah.
Get on with it.
Only if it's a selfie, I think, is what he'll tell me. But we'd like a full interview. Yeah, Randy Hahn would be nice. Having him back on the show again. We've had him on twice. If you haven't seen our interviews with Randy Hahn, please check those out. Obviously, one of them very out of date. This was right after the Erik Karlsson news broke, when we got Erik Karlsson. So seasons ago, right? And then most recently was at a winery, actually, Aaron, for his how many games was it?
What?
How many games was it that he called?
2000th game?
2000?
Right?
Some ridiculous number.
Yeah.
He's a legend.
Yep.
TJ Gagliardi. Noah, that is a name. That is someone that we could interview. As Graham would say. There you go. Yeah, I think Jumbo. Oh, if we had Jumbo on there, but he was shirtless.
Yeah.
Just Jumbo. You don't want to see anybody else shirtless. That's certainly
that'll get the views, right?
Noah Claxton, you're trolling. Auntie Sue Mella. There you go. Ooh. Maybe I can get Benning on the show.
Oh. When's Toronto coming to town? Maybe we can get Noah on.
Oh, no. We can't do that. We can't do that. Nope. Not happening. That's Jay Sharkey. That would be a very interesting interview. Honestly, Rafi Torres, he gets a bad rap. I like that guy. I thought he was a heck of a player. CJ says, just wanted to tap in, staying up for the show. Gotta have to pay the price tomorrow morning, but it's worth it. Oh, hey, CJ, thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Now, CJ, I don't know if you know, we're pretty much at the end of the show here. So you're not going to have to stay up too much longer, but I appreciate you popping in. Super producer Jason wants Marlowe as the first interview. on the set there. Yeah, I mean, there's a
Mr.
lot of big
Shark.
names. It would be certainly nice to get any one of those folks to agree to come and speak with us, but we will see how it goes. Hopefully, we can trick them into thinking that we're more professional than we are with our set photos. So we'll see. Paul will giggle like a schoolgirl if Gregor was on.
Oh,
I
man.
would the entire time.
You'd bring the jersey and get it.
I was gonna say, if we have Gregor on the show, I gotta wear the jersey then. Right?
Yeah.
I have to. So I just won't tell him what the jersey's about, and he'll be very flattered that I'm wearing it. But there you go, Chichu.
Right.
I think you know what, we could get Chichu. I'm pretty sure we can get Chichu.
Maybe set a Gucci.
That'd be cool.
Jody Shelley is, I don't think he's around the San Jose area as far as I know. So I don't think we'd be able to get Jody Shelley on. Scott Hannon we had on we had him on twice, right? Yeah, we had him on twice.
No, 3 times. 3 times. We had him on the first time we interviewed on, it was like this, right?
Yep.
We interviewed him there. Then we had him at the draft as well, and with Kathy's the Power Hour, which again, if you've not seen the Power Hour episode, please, as soon as we hang up here, go ahead and take a look at that one because it's phenomenal. It was so much fun. Mark Smith, Scott Hannon, being out there at the facility with them and having them show us up what real NHLers can do. Oh, I know, I got that. But doing that with them, so much fun. I was actually pretty surprised and impressed with myself with the shot power. I did not think I was going to get as high as I did. I think
it was broken.
Was that?
I think it was broken.
No, it's not. It was totally working as intended, Aaron.
There's no way I was shooting it that hard.
Oh, here we go.
No way. There's no
Watch
way.
the technique here, boys. Watch the technique. Yes, sir.
There's no way I hit that at 52.
All bottom hand, buddy.
Yep.
Oh, you got that top hand out a little bit there, huh?
Yeah.
It's not bad.
I usually do more wrist shots than slappers.
I think the slap shot's kind of going the way of the dodo for the most part. I think you watch Bernsey, he just fires wristers from the point too. All right, let's take a look at the technique here. Ooh, a little better. Ooh, dirty 70 miles an hour. My goodness. Hey, for you guys on the podcast, you definitely you got to see this because this is how you don't shoot. You got to watch the big boys. I don't know if it were before or after, but don't watch us if you're looking for some technique. Anyway,
and
Curtis Brown actually would be pretty cool. I don't know about if we can even contact Curtis Brown anymore. He's with the alumni, but I think we'd be okay there.
Hannon was getting quite upset during those slap shots because it was not going as hard as he wanted it to, and
he's like, "It's the skates."
But he was getting very competitive about it and wouldn't stop. It's pretty funny.
Paul looking like a Gretzky Hour all-star. You know what, dude? I'll take that as a compliment. I know it's not meant to be, but I will. Oh boy. Yeah, he was upset because of the skates. Yeah. He was like, "Yeah, it's the skates."
Yeah, he was complaining because we weren't wearing skates, but he was, and so he was getting mad.
He still he cranked at 83.
Then he switched sticks, I think, with me.
Yeah, he tried the Timo stick.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I was using Timo Meyer's stick that was at the facility.
That's
which I couldn't flex it because I wasn't strong.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a whole lot of flex in that stick. The rating is pretty high. It was over 100, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't even
110.
remember.
I forget.
120.
Anyway, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Hey, man, this has been a lot of fun. I appreciate all the comments here, guys. Love going through this stuff. Yeah, I would do a live with Brody Brazil. That actually would be cool too. I wouldn't mind getting Brody on here, but we'll see.
We had Brody on, but it was remote.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Ryan Miller. That's another good one. My goodness. In any case, hey guys, again, thank you so much for making this a whole lot of fun. Again, we really enjoy doing this. It's going to be a little weird, Aaron, I think, going back to a recorded show. I'm hoping we can still figure out some way of doing the lives, either like we did before. We did like a live show for like 15 minutes or whatever it was before we went and did the recorded show, or we just do them live. We'll do it live. So, hopefully we do something like that because, again, this for me has been just a lot of fun over the last couple seasons that we've done this, and I've kind of grown accustomed to doing it this way now. So we'll see. And I think Super Producer Jason would almost prefer it because I remember us spending about 4 hours on a 30-minute episode trying to get the take right the first season. If you remember that one, that was
so bad.
We just stunk.
So
yes,
bad.
we did. We stunk so bad. Much worse than we do now. In any case, again, guys, thank you so much. If you'd like to support the show, you can do that in several different ways. One of them, of course, super chat function. You can do that. And you can also go to Venmo at the Fin Factor. Either way, if you leave a comment, we'll go ahead and read that out live during the show. Or if you do it kind of after the fact, we can get it into the next show. Not a problem there. Also, if you'd like to support the show, but get something in return, you can go to thefinfactor.com, check out all the merch that we have there. You can get hats, water bottles, sweatshirts, t-shirts, fanny packs, all kinds of cool stuff. So if you'd like to support us that way, you can do that as well. And what else do we have? Stickers and things like that. Toasters? Are we selling toasters, or are we just putting the stickers on toasters?
Yes.
We will figure out how to get you a toaster if need be. If you don't have a toaster already, what are you doing? I don't know who doesn't have a toaster. Regardless,
this little guy.
There you go. Oh yeah. Hey, we're gonna figure something out for you too, all you guys, regarding some giveaways. I think we've got a lot of random stuff, bobbleheads included, and we want to figure out a way to get that to you guys. Now, Ryan here has done exactly that and supported this show with a $5 super chat. Ryan, thank you so much. Do appreciate your support of the show. Let's see what you said here. We heard Paul and Aaron talking about going to a game, but is super producer Jason going, ooh, don't leave poor SPJ behind. It's not poor SPJ. Let me tell you something. When Jason goes to the games, he's usually got the seats that are like row 3.
Yeah.
He's baller.
Yeah.
So I have not been scratched and available. There you go. Yeah, maybe we'll it's still have 3 seats, right? Maybe the 3 of us go.
Thursday night, maybe.
Wouldn't mind. And if you happen to see us there, please say hi. We're very friendly. And we don't bite, except for
We'll take pictures.
We just stunk.
Selfies only.
Only if it's a selfie. All right, cool. Okay, Aaron, unless you've got anything else.
Nope.
No? We good? Okay. Well, hey, last time, I just want to say once again, thanks to everybody in the chat, and especially Ryan Sontag. Thank you so much for that support. Do appreciate it. So for super producer Jason, I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
And we will see you guys
next week.
Or we'll probably be 0-11 or
at the game
10-1.
Get on with it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, check out our other content, especially interviews. You can interact with us directly through social media at The Fin Factor and on Instagram at Fin Factor. And don't forget to join our live streams on YouTube.
Visit our website at thefinfactor.com, where you'll find all of our episodes as videos or podcasts. You'll also find our exclusive merchandise